You're Vanek?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm Cody, I think.
I kind of blacked out. I don't know what happened there. What up? I'm the 2:30 p.m. in the morning podcast.
Vanek. What's happening, man?
Brisbane.
Here, give me a hand.
Why am I sitting over here now?
We brain swapped, didn't we? I have a question to pose to the internet. Is Stacey's mum Jesse's girl?
What kind of witchcraft are you smoking? Let's get into it. Brisbane. You were in Brisbane.
I was in Brisbane. So I went up to Brisbane to battle Deliver, and it was an interesting experience, man. We had some great battles. There were meant to be more battles on the day that didn't happen for whatever reasons. The battles that did happen were Lone Soldier versus ABC, Red Rider War versus Sage Moon, myself versus Deliver, and Shads versus Zayn Azrai, who in the last episode we did Interlude, I referred to as Zayn Azari. I misread it. I'm sorry, Zayn. Please don't hate me too much.
But it's good that we got to see a judge one for a change.
This battle was judged a loss, but it wasn't like a hard loss. Like if I would rather lose to Deliver trying my absolute best than lose to someone like Dove at her worst. So, Deliver's a cheese. 2-time Real Talk champion for a reason. He came in super clean, came in super polished, had some great jabs. I forgot my lines, had to freestyle in the gaps. I managed to bring myself back to my writtens, but in my first round when I fucked up and I was freestyling, I brought it back to my writtens. They were the lyrics I had for my second round. So when I got actually into my second round, I was trying to combine writtens from my first and my second together, and I started repeating lines that I'd already done, and I tripped up on that and started freestyling again. I also stole Deliver's hat twice. Motherfuckers like, stop taking my hat, cut. I was like, have your hat back.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I don't like my hat being taken either. Funny story about this particular hat. I was at the train station one time and someone actually did try to steal it.
I think I remember this story, but tell the people.
Yeah, I was at the train station and someone comes up and they're like, bro, I like your hat. It's sick. Can we swap hats? And I'm like, no, I don't want to swap hats with you. So they took my hat, gave me their hat. And I'm like, I don't want your hat. Keep my hat. I don't really care about it. I'll buy another one. And then eventually they're like, you know what? Here's your hat back.
It was the nicest mugging ever.
Yeah. But yeah, back to Brisbane.
I'd say one of the main reasons I lost that battle was I was disorganized, disfocused. As embarrassing as it is, suffer horribly from motion sickness.
But you think that factored into...
Yeah. So I think like I said, I suffer horribly from motion sickness. I have my entire life. It's prevented me from doing a lot of things. Traveling is one of them. And I hadn't been on a plane in 20 years. And I don't really remember the experience from the first time I was on the plane. So I was like, I'll test the waters. I should be right. Get on the plane. Just 3 hours of nausea, and it wasn't just, it was like ad nauseum, just like the most extreme. We get to Brisbane midnight, the day of the battle. By the time I got to my hotel, I just collapsed on the couch, and then after a while, my head stopped spinning, and I went to bed. Woke up with fuck all time to kill until the battle. Get dressed, take off. So I've had no time to prep or like any last minute rehearsals, just straight into it. At the event, I was again like super disfocused, disorganized, kind of anxious, just being smacked in the face by Brisbane weather, because like I'm a Victorian man. Even when it's hot, it's cold. So going to Brisbane where if it's hot, it's really hot. It was unpleasant. But I think again, no last minute rehearsal, any of these things. were like compounding factors that just sort of mashed together and threw me off my rhythm. Which, you know, it happens. I feel like even though Deliver beat me, which very clearly should have gone to Deliver,
Mm.
I don't think it was a clear body. Like, you know how some losses are just like that guy ate that motherfucker. Like, I don't think it was like that. D definitely got me, but I held my own. I recovered fairly well from my first fumble. Got a lot of my lines, even though they were not in order. I managed to get a lot of my lines out. The after party, though, man, best part of that whole trip was that after party. If anybody's seen the recap I did of the Brisbane event, it's online. You'll see shots from the after party. We had like Big Cos, we had Dwiz of Oz, there was myself, Zane Azrai, Shaky, we had Lone Soldier, Urban Energy, and there was a whole big like hurrah. But slowly things are happening that are like, if you'd have told me back in the day that one day I'd be ciphering with Dwiz of Oz, or like, you know, the other night at the Jam Club I freestyle battled Greeley, which like bucket list item unlocked. So the loss with delivery, it is what it is. Good with the bad, man. It's good with the bad. So I lost, but it's good learning curve, good stepping stone. All I really want to do is be in the conversation. So and I've achieved that to some small degree. So yeah, losing to deliver, it ain't a thing, man. Shout outs to D.
Yeah, talking about Deliver's round, I was a huge fan of his Bob Catter wordplay, and also he took some jabs at Dan Andrews. That was kind of funny too.
Shut the place down like Dan Andrews did with COVID.
Yeah,
I also really like, and I'm probably butchering this if I do, D, I'm sorry. Getting sick of hearing how his piggy misses is hideous and that the locals are calling her Swamp Guinea. Every time I hear that, I lose my fucking shit, man. Doesn't even need, it's a setup. Doesn't even need a punchline, bro. Could have just ended right there and I would have been happy. Like, that is fucking hilarious.
and then I've said this in private to you, but my favorite bar from you was the Slade Wade Wilson Deathstroke scheme.
Yeah. The one bar I'm really gutted I didn't get out. I'm gonna do it here on camera for y'all. Obviously, MC Wheels. Now, if you don't know who MC Wheels is, motherfucker is an absolute legend of independent Australian hip hop. He has some physical impairments, hence the name, but he grabbed life by the fucking balls, man. He's a G. And young Master Cody here had the privilege of working with the legend, which is how I became aware of him. Do you want to give him a little bit of a rundown on that?
Yeah, so back in the day, I took a trip up to Queensland with my mum, and she had known that I was a fan of MC Wheels, and she organised for us to meet. And I'm like, "What? Why is MC Wheels at Australia Zoo? What's going on here?" And then we clicked, and then we became friends, and then we decided to do a track together. So that was cool.
I remember that track too. It was dope. And that was my intro to Wheels, was that track that you did with him. But so getting back to the Deliver thing, I had this set up. If you don't know what Deliver looks like or MC Wheels looks like, go look both of them up right now. I'll give you a moment. Moment's over. So the line I had was, "I'm just getting started, 'cause you're a spitting image of MC Wheels if his limbs worked. Only you look more retarded, so go and kiss my ass, 'cause this is real art versus the special kid in class." And I didn't get that bar out. I rapped that bar for a few people at the after party, and everyone's like, "Bro, like, why didn't you get that bar out?" Even Dwiz, like, it may have been Dwiz, I rapped it for, and he was like, "Oh, you're from the sunny coast, bro." I was like, "Nah, man." I just, "Oh, hey, you know Wheels?" It's like, I'm a fan of indie fucking music and Aussie rap, man. I know Wheels. He's literally go look up MC Wheels. The dude on Instagram, I think he's got Facebook, YouTube. Just check him out, man. He's a fucking weapon.
He's got about 3 albums out, and they're all solid.
Yeah, he's a G, genuine G. On the battle rap front, I got some big things happening. My next battle is with Marty Martz. I don't know if I can talk too much about what's happening beyond the Marty battle, but I will say that I've got another battle coming up with a different league. Still a devoted member of 30G, always. I did speak to Shake to see if it was all cool if I branched out. He was like, bro, you do you. Fucking love you to death, Shaky. You fucking sexy beast. Um, so yeah, got another battle linked up with another league. Again, I don't know if I can talk too much about what's happening. But yeah, some big things are in the works.
So onto another battle that you did. Greeley, how did that happen?
Dude, like fucking childhood bucket list item ticked off, my bro. Really recently held a fundraiser in Morwell at the Jam Club to try and help generate some buzz and some funds into keeping the Jam Club going. They have some really big things planned that they want to use that space for. So this fundraiser was a great way to do that. The Jam Club is on Swan Street in Morwell. They put some great events on. Definitely keep an eye on that space. So yeah, he's doing this fundraiser, and straight away, everyone's like, "Oh, you gotta get Vanek. You've got to get Vanek." So I message him. I'm like, "Homie, you know what? I may not be what you're looking for, but you know, throw my hat in the ring." It's like, "Yeah, I know you. We'll put you on the list." I was like, "Cool." So I get on the list. My set was at 8 o'clock. The event ran 6 till 10, and my set was at 8 o'clock. Got on, did what I did with the set. I learned that I am incredibly unfit, and like not just for a fat person. I mean just in general. Like my brother's fatter than me, but fit. He can run a mile. He's a security guard by trade. He can run a mile, but he's fatter than I am. But he's all like beer belly and shit. So you can be fat and fit. I'm just unfit, right? I need to smoke less, do more cardio. But I did my set. It was awesome, bro. Having people be, I haven't played a show in like 6 years ish. Last show I played was when me and Apex did the Cali in One Faggy. Was my last like official show. Um, but I get on stage and like the crowd reaction was like, get your hand, and people are doing this, and I say G, you say land, G, like it was awesome. So at the end of my set, being me, I'm like, if anybody wants to freestyle battle later, come and find me. Let's make it happen. So I get off stage, I'm having a dart, and they're spitting like cipher on stage. And I hear my name called. And it's like, where's that? Where's that? Butt my dart inside. I get in, and I'm like trying to like, because generally a cipher is like motherfucker spits 8 bars, and the mic gets passing spit 8 bars, and I'm like, you get people that'll just like rap, which is fine, like whatever. Um, but traditionally a cipher's like boom, 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 boom. So I'm like waiting to get past the mic, and Greeley comes up. He's like, "So we battling?" But I kept up, played it cool, man. Played scared, full battle on beat, freestyle shit. I He goes to like rock paper. There's so much noise and kind of hard of hearing. He's like rock paper scissors, and I was like, what? Oh, right, yeah, rock paper scissors, sweet man. One, I won the Rochambeau. If you don't know, Rochambeau is the technical name for the game rock paper scissors. If you don't know that or you don't believe me, Google it.
I don't know that.
Google it.
I do believe you.
Rochambeau, look it up. So anyway, I won the Rochambeau, and I turn around, I'm like, you go first, bro. There was no yo, just without skipping a beat straight into the raps, right? He's like saying about like you're 30 and can't roll beard and BO and this and that. And I thought I was just gonna cave, right? Because like freestyling's not really my strong suit. I am a writer. But something just took over, bro. And the only bar I remember off the top was like, blah, 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 blah. Do you feel me? Long gone are the days of the superstar Greeley. And he was like, comes up to me afterwards. He's like, bro, you got that, like, solid. And yeah, we linked up, we networked. There's some things happening down the track. One of the greatest fucking experiences of my professional career was being on stage freestyle battling with Greeley. Like,
And was that because Raz was also there? Was that the first time you and Raz were together since your battle?
yeah, it was not the first time. Actually, no, it wasn't. Sorry. Do you remember the gig at the VRI Hall?
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
I was leaving soundcheck, headed to the shops or something, and I bumped into Raz. You know the Traralgon train station's got the bridge area. We met sort of around there and had a chat to Raz. I think he came to the gig, chilled out for a bit. I can't quite remember, but that was the last time I bumped into him. But we've spoken a couple of times since the Amped Up days, and it was really good to see him. Like, I get off from battling Greeley, I walk into the crowd, there's Benji. He's like, that, I was like, Benji, like, shook his hand, said what up. I had a chat to him about potentially doing a Gippsland cipher. He was very open to it, which was dope. It was really good to see Raz. While I was there too, caught up with Doozy, but I was like, I'd finished with my sound check, and I was leaving the venue briefly, and I hear Vanek, and like that happened to me all night, bro. Vanek. Turn around, there's Doozy, and I'm like, what's going on, bro? Kind of like confused. Like, he's like, it's Doozy. I was like, bro, what? Like, ugh. But yeah, no, that was awesome too. So networked with Dooz, networked with Grill, caught up with Raz. Turns out, I also know the people that operate the Jam Club.
Oh wow.
I grew up with them. So their family lived around the corner from my dad. I've known their daughter since, because we're the same age, Paige and I. But I think I was maybe like 3 or 4 when I met Paige. So yeah, when I found out that Paige's family operated the Jam Club, I was like, small world, bro. Great event, man. It's a great turnout. It was a really good event, and yeah, just excited for the future.
So I just want to introduce formally the episode. I want to talk about violence, just vaguely as it relates to battle rap, hip hop. Before we do that, did you organize the next sponsor?
I would speak, but Monster have made me sign contracts.
But if you signed it,
I'm allowed to drink it. I'm just not allowed to discuss it. Apparently, the company, which consists of a guy named Bill, a secretary named Janice, and a robot puppy that does backflips, they emailed me and were like, hey, we were not impressed at your sex with our product and mutilation, and like, it still hurts, man. But they made me sign a contract saying that I would not.
Well, that's why I was thinking red eye, because the bottle, it's not a can, it's a bottle, right? And it's smooth, so you could fuck it a bit easier.
But it's like kind of like permanently like this. At least with the can, I could sort of cut around and make a hole a bit bigger. But Red Eye should fucking sponsor us, because Monster won't.
Yeah, I mean, some monsters have red eyes, don't they?
You might be onto something.
Anyway, let's get into the podcast.
Okay.
So, I wanted to talk about the representation of violence in entertainment media, and specifically hip-hop. So, you come from the battle rap scene, and would you say the battle rap scene can get violent?
It can. It boils down to street battling versus league battling. Street battling tends to be a bit more violent. If you go like back into the 90s, in America, school battles, street battles, parking lot battles, somebody said something that went a bit far, or somebody got a bit too in your face. It wasn't uncommon for punch-ons and knives to be pulled, and it wasn't uncommon. League battling tends to be a lot more ego-driven than specifically violent. In saying that, though, the glorification of violence within context is a huge thing. Like, people will spit bars, and I'm guilty of it. I do shock rap, so I'm guilty of it. but a lot of people will write, just the most horrendously violent things. Whether it be, directly violent or sexually violent or psychologically violent, the glorification of violence in general is very prevalent in battle rap. Usually done for the purposes of either intensity or comedic value, but there is still that glorification of violence within the battle community. But I also think that's been an argument that people have had for rap at large since its conception, is the glorification of violence.
Yeah, well, I guess the glorification aspect can be argued because, if you look at groups like NWA, they're talking about violence, they're not glorifying it.
Yeah.
They're just talking about, where they come from and what it was like where they grew up. It's like when people have digs at the Bible, they're like, oh, the Old Testament is so violent, but a lot of, those passages within Old Testament are describing the violence that happened in those periods.
And that's where I think, like, the average person that argues against any form of entertainment or media has that misconception of, if you are simply discussing, like NWA, right? Strength to street knowledge. This is who we are. This is what we grew up witnessing. This is why we're here now, right? And that's simply, as you said, we're just sort of talking on it, touching on it. But you get people that will argue that if you discuss or seem like you engage or make jokes of these things in a massive setting, like if you're a celebrity, you're considered a role model, you're a teacher, something. If you are put in a position where people are looking up to you, you'll get a lot of these, if you're simply talking about it, but it's on a major platform, that's glorification. If you were going to talk about rainbows and puppies and butterflies, they wouldn't have an issue. But because you're not glorifying rainbows and puppies, oh, he's just talking about a lovely summer's day. The second you add in somebody getting shot, if you're on a major platform and in a position to reach a lot of people, you will get people that will argue that it's glorification one way or the other.
But how would that differ from like horror movies?
I don't really think it would, like, because the same people. That's why before I said like finding that argument in entertainment as opposed to specifically rap, because heavy metal's been protested. A lot of cinema, horror movies, various comedies, the porn industry, music. That's what I was saying. If on an entertainment level, if you're on a platform to push that kind of content, regardless of your form of entertainment, you'll find people that will try and argue the most like Karen-driven points.
Yeah, it's like there used to be these discussions of video games cause teenage boys to become violent, and the way I see it is, it's a art, video games, music are good mediums to let out violent thoughts and stuff like that, rather than actually being violent. But I feel like as it gets closer to something that's actually real, like depicting like serial killers and stuff like that, then the lines can get a little bit grey.
And like in saying that, right, I think with the topic of like serial killers and like that sort of angle, it's one of the most contradictory things in the world, right? Because they suggest, you get professionals that suggest that a fascination with this kind of psychology in these kind of cases could be considered a stressor or a trigger for future serial killers. But in order for people to get into that profession, they need to study criminal psychology at school, which is diving into serial raping, serial murders, serial kidnappings, like spree killings. It's, tormented childhoods, incest, fucking pedophilia. They have to study all of this to be able to work in an industry that caters to criminal psychology. Whether you work for the BAU or you become some kind of lawyer or whatever. If you're studying criminal psychology, you are studying just the most horrible sides of being a human. Don't get fascinated in serial killers, because you might become one yourself. And if you are fascinated in serial killers, study it in school.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
right? It's backwards. And I think it's like the concern is that we become desensitized through our fascination. But being desensitized to something doesn't also necessarily mean you're going to become whatever it is you're desensitized to. The average person, when they watch a serial killer doco or a true crime doco, they're it's like a threefold thing. They've got curiosity, but at that same time, they're feeling compassion for the victims. At that same time, they're feeling empathy for a killer who may have just been a very sick human being. They're displaying real, genuine emotion. If you were genuinely going to become if you were psychopathic, sociopathic, something to that degree, those levels of human emotion that you're feeling for the victims, the families of the victims, the cops that had to investigate, etc., that you're not going to become twisted psycho serial killer person if you're feeling those kind of emotions.
I feel like one of the things that makes, I guess, art in this era different is that everyone's, thinking about all of these issues. Whereas, back in the 90s when like Eminem was rapping, he was just, saying crazy shit for the sake of shock value.
Yeah, which is why I do it really. Like I just say outlandish shit because I for the sake of doing it. Like I believe that shock rap is pretty much dead. And there is still people out there that do it. You still got like your bazaars and your Gmo skis, but the only people tuning in to listen to their new shit are diehard fans of what they've been doing. Nobody from the 2020s is going, oh, I've just discovered this shock rapper and I think it's great. Because straight away they'll hear the content and go, so the only people listening to shock rap now are diehard fans of shock rap. And I feel like we're in an era where even though people are becoming super sensitive, I also feel like there is hidden in that is a longing to return to the status quo. And so I feel like that shock content, whether it be horror movie, shock rap, whatever, is starting to get almost a resurgence as people are regaining their curiosity.
I think you see that in comedy at the moment because for a while there, comedy got really PC and people were, walking on eggshells, trying not to offend people, and then there was a bit of a resurgence of, like TV shows like Always Sunny, they were always doing their thing. South Park always doing its thing.
Yeah.
But there's been a like look at Eminem for example. He's tried to dip back into his Slim Shady persona because it's become the thing again.
Yeah, and again, like you get shows like Sunny, for example, that at one point were kind of treading the line. Like they could see the world was changing, so their content slightly did as well. Like they did a lot more, not for lack of a better word, they did a lot more woke episodes where the gang was sort of exploring morality for the first time. But if you watch season 17, they've kicked pretty much all that out the door and returned to just being fucking horrible people, which is great. Like they've returned to the sort of bizarre, pointless chaos, just immoral bullshit that made Sunny funny in the first place.
Yeah, I think that's why becoming too aware of the ethics of the art that we do can be a little bit problematic because we're thinking about the consequences, which is good, but at the same time it limits the artistic expression.
And that's what I've always said. You've probably heard me say it a million times. I think I've said it on the podcast, but doing shock content completely, unfiltered shot content. It allows you to create without limitation because you're not caught up in the what ifs, the should I's, the should I nots, the ethics, the morality. You're not caught up in all that, which allows you to create very, very freely.
Well, my thing with I guess dark sort of art is comedy. That's what I like the most. That's why I like South Park and Always Sunny, and battle rap as well.
That's why I like doing shock value just sort of for the sake of doing it because I kind of feel like at some point everybody's gone, I could probably kill that motherfucker right now, or somebody's going, I wonder what their blood tastes like. Maybe not to those extremes, that everybody's had some kind of thought process that treads into the taboo and they're just not willing to admit to it. Whereas you get people like Tarantino, Quentin Tarantino. He's a fucked up human being, but he owns it.
Yeah.
Stephen King has a fucked up mind, but he owns it. Like, own that shit, and it makes it. If you fully own it, it makes it entertaining. Like, that's why Eminem worked in the early days. He said outlandish, horrible shit. Most of it was completely pointless. Like, you listen to Slim Shady LP, there is so much of that album that has absolutely no point. It is just rhyming words for the sake of rhyming words. But he owned it. He didn't care how fucked up it was. He owned it, and people connected to it because he owned it. Whereas if you're on stage being like fucking, oh, I'd fuck this chick with no rubber, even if she was my own mother. Like, if she was my own mother and have a son and a new brother at the same time, you just gotta own that shit, and people will connect. Like,
Yeah. I think with that example, I think people connected because they also were thinking the same thing. I mean, it's Jennifer Lopez. Like,
well, and that's the thing. I feel like at some point everybody, it's part of the human condition. I feel like at some point everybody, regardless of what it is, they want an excuse to tread into those taboos. They want an excuse to justify their anger. They want an excuse to justify their interest in serial killers. They want an excuse to justify the way they're feeling by giving them shock content, just pointless shock content for the sake of it. It gives them that excuse. I don't need to go out and murder this person that's angered me deeply. I can just listen to this rapper and fucking scream about it. Like, I feel like people watch horror movies for the same reason. You know, I think we've had this exact conversation in almost every episode of this podcast.
yeah, I wonder if it made the edit. But yeah, when it comes to hip hop specifically, a lot of people, put hip hop in this weird category where it's just like you're talking about violence, you're glorifying it, and it's all hip hop's fault.
Well, before like hip hop, they were blaming it on metal.
Yeah.
Before metal, they were like, you still get people that watch like something like Shakespeare and be like, like this content is so like who would have like it's Shakespeare. If somebody gets their tits out and then gets stabbed in the heart, it's artistic. There's something poetic about it. It's not just gratuitous nudity and violence. Like there's a reason to it. Like, and if you don't know anything from Shakespeare, then I sense trouble in the state of Denmark. Go check out some Shakespeare.
But yeah, back to hip hop being blamed for certain things. Ice Cube put out a song, putting that message on blast. It's not hip hop's fault that
this is what happened.
Yeah.
Because I've only listened to that song twice now. The first time you showed me and last night, so the bars aren't really there, but the way he's like, they did this in the 70s, they did this in the 80s, they did this prior to us, was this, that concept was great.
Yeah. So the if you haven't heard the song for whatever reason, go look it up, but watch the video because the video tells a really good story that intertwines with the lyrics.
It's also incredibly well filmed, like it's very cinematic.
So Ice Cube's particularly talking about the African American community through his experience, which is something that I personally can't relate to because I'm not from that environment.
Mm-hmm.
But he opens up his second verse and he says, "They tell you and me it was lots of unity in the black community. That shit is lunacy. They tried to ruin me, got me for my jewelry. What did they do to me? Police got immunity. Early 70s got him for his leather piece." There's a lot to unpack there, but I think part of what he's saying is the police brutality in the 70s before hip hop led to the community being violent in certain ways.
The actions of police in America, especially in the early days, post-slavery, but still sort of mid-segregation, created this mentality within the police department that has almost become like passed down generationally, and I think it's hard. So again, like what Cody was saying about this particular song, the concept is the actions of the past led to these certain incidences that they're now blaming on a music and a people and a community that came much later than a lot of what led up to what they consider to be hip hop's fault.
Yeah, and that's not to say that hip hop hasn't had some negative impacts on certain communities, the West Coast East Coast situation.
Yeah.
But when you also look at that, that's detracted from what hip hop originally was, which was about community and unity.
Yeah, well, the early days of rapping, so the reason they refer to rappers as MCs, now if y'all don't know, MC stands for Master of Ceremonies. So if you're at a wedding and there's like a person on the mic that hosts the wedding, that's an MC. If you're at an awards banquet, the person hosting the awards banquet, that's an MC.
That confused me so much as a kid because they're like, oh, such and such is going to be the MC of the event. I'm like, they're rapping? They're a rapper? When's the rap happening?
So, so the term MC was applied to rap back in, I think it was the late 70s when hip hop was conceptualized. But MCs traditionally would go to break parties where they would have DJs doing their thing, and then in between the sets, they would have people on the mics just telling jokes and give it up for the DJ and give yourselves a round of applause, that kind of stuff. Over time, that grew into people spitting lines. And they didn't even rhyme really initially. You could just be like, yeah, everybody in the place. We've got DJ Cody. Now go over there to the bar and get yourself a Red Bull. Yeah. Like, and that was rapping. Like, that eventually combined with the element of rhyming blew up into what it is, which is why they now refer to rappers as MCs. Little history for you.
Yeah, I would say that in today's climate, there are very few rappers who are legitimate MCs now.
Yeah.
So when I look at someone who is a rapper and an MC, I look at someone like Ice-T.
Yeah, I think like, so as a rapper or an MC being a rapper, like if you have stage presence, you can demand crowd control, you can connect with the audience, you can put on a spectacle as opposed to just stand there and rap. I feel like that'd be an MC as opposed to someone who's just like and just like stands there and raps. Like, but I consider myself an artist. Give me anything and I'll see if I can rap to it, sing to it, act on it, whatever. I've never considered myself to just be a rapper.
Having this conversation the other day with a friend, and they were trying to get me to make grime and what's the other trendy genre?
Drill.
They're like, oh, you need to make some grime and drill beats. I'm like, that's not what I do, man. I make whatever music I feel like, and maybe it will be that one day, but at the moment, I'm not really into those subgenres. But they're like, oh, I like gotta rap beats because I rap about gotta rap stuff. It's like, well, you can do that over boom bap. You can do that over country. No one's stopping you.
Well, and that's the thing. Gotta rap doesn't really have a beat style. It's more like what you're talking about, because gutter rap is an Australian subgenre.
Yeah.
Like, so drill rap came out of Chicago. Grime rap, which is drill rap on that violence topic, is still one of the most violent forms of rap. That's literally what drill rap is the glorification of gang life. That's drill rap. So whenever I hear an Aussie drill rapper, I'm like, get off it, son. Like, get the fuck off it. Except for 1-4. 1-4 are probably the only drill act in Australia that actually lived the shit they were saying and had the right to call themselves drill rappers.
I actually didn't mind their music too.
It was like gutter rap was like the original Eshe rap before grime and drill took over.
So the evolution of barbecue rap.
Well, I remember listening to, I don't know if you're familiar with artists like Lisquana, Klepto.
Sounds familiar.
Rewards 1, like that, in my opinion, was like real proper gutter rap. It was the recording quality was kind of edgy, the beats were kind of edgy, the production was kind of lacking, but the bars, it wasn't even complex lyricism, but they were just saying some real shit. Like,
Which when you look at the opposite end of that, you look at battle rap, right?
hmm
Which is a lot of shock rap, a lot of bars for the sake of bars, but there is an element of realism within certain niches.
Yep.
But overall, it is shock rap.
hmm
I watched the movie Bodied finally. It took me 10 years.
It's a good movie, man.
And that touches on a lot of those themes.
It's a great movie.
I saw the trailer on YouTube like years ago whenever it dropped, and I'm like, I need to watch this now. And then life got in the way. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Like, independent movie produced by Eminem, and it stars some pretty solid battle rappers, and Charlemagne the God, which is funny.
And Andy Milonakis.
Yeah, I was not expecting that collab, to be honest. Like,
Shout outs to Andy Milonakis, bro. That dude's a G.
yeah, like I wonder how he got involved in it, because it kind of seemed like a little bit out of place, but in saying that, they didn't do anything with his character. So
Andy's also been in a few rap movies. So like he was also in Mac and Devon Go to High School.
oh really? I still haven't seen that.
That's a fucking good movie, bro. It's ridiculous.
But yeah,
it's funny as.
Bodied touches on the representation of violent themes within battle rap,
Mhm.
and it does it very well, because it doesn't have limitations in terms of what the battlers say. They say racist stuff, they say sexist stuff.
The main racist battler, that's the late great Pat Stay.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to Pat Stay.
Pat Stay and Disaster had probably the two best performances in the film, in my opinion.
Dumbfounded when he's like, man, you had some very creative Asian jokes. At least you knew I was Korean. Man, that's culturally sensitive by battle rap standards. Like, every time I think of Body, like, Dumbfounded is probably my all-time favorite battle rapper. Every time I think of that movie, all I hear is that's culturally sensitive by battle rap standards. Shout out Johnny Park.
But that's the funny thing about battle rap, is that in the ring it's just like, fuck you, you're a faggot, blah blah blah. But then behind the scenes everyone's cool, everyone's friends. It's like, it's like when you're watching, I don't know if you get into competitive sports, as in fighting, like MMA and stuff, but in the ring they're just like throwing fists at each other, but then at the end of it, they hug it out, and they're cool. And battle rap's much the same thing.
Bodied also explored though how like a willingness to succeed mixed with an ignorance of your own downfalls can take things way too far. Like the main character embodied, Adam, he is insufferably white privileged.
Mm.
His girlfriend is insufferably white privileged. Everything comes from an ignorant standpoint. Like, he's studying the impact of the N word within battle rap. That's kind of jankety for a white guy, but like, he's super ignorant to his own privilege. And he's like, I'm one of you, I'm one of you, I'm one of you, throughout the film, trying to learn and study how to become one of them. And then, to get it in his head that it doesn't matter what I say in the ring, it's all going to be cool because I said it in the ring. Taking that too far, throwing his mentor's entire life in his face toward the end, where he's like, yeah, we can be cool on some battle rap shit, but we will never be friends. Do not speak to me again, and walks off. That was a very impactful moment. And that overall is what the movie is about. It's a social commentary on white privilege, ignorance, arrogance, the thematic elements that make up the battle community and how they can be misperceived and misconstrued. But no, that sequence, that when Adam gets his first major battle, and it's being hosted by Melanocus. In there, you had Roan, you had Pat Stay, Dumbfounded. Like, it was. I mean, the movie was written by Kid Twist, man.
What I found the most striking in the beginning of the movie was how the privileged white members of the character cast, I don't know what you would call it, the characters that were privileged and white, they were all super, left leaning politically, and they think that they're trying to do the right thing, but they're so ignorant to the outside world.
Yeah, but I think that's meant to be like a jab on like the fake woke status of our current culture, like people that are so over, like the girlfriend,
Yeah.
vegan, domineering, educated but ignorant, thinks she's better than everyone.
Taking offense on others' behalf.
All that sort of stuff really like plays into like the fake woke generation who think they understand everything so much clearer than we do, but a lot of what they say and do comes from a place of complete ignorance.
Yeah. And then you've also got the other side of it. There was a character also in the beginning who was a white guy, but he was not from the privileged scene.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a interesting touch because it's just reality. If it was just one extreme and the other, it would be a little bit jarring. And also having Adam's mentor, I forgot the character's name. Adam's mentor being a video game designer. I think that was also a nice touch because it shows that people are a lot more complicated than these hard to find lines.
It's like, to a battle rapper, you almost entirely exist as a battle rapper. So to show that, like, everybody, especially like in America, assumes like if you're battle rapping, you have to be like a hard motherfucker and come from a rough background, blah blah. So I think he's a video game designer because he's college educated, has a good job to support his sick child, battle raps to as a passion and a way to make some extra funds. Like, it just highlighted how normal people are outside of their personas.
I actually I liked how they ended it, but I didn't like the music choice. They ended it with "My Name Is" from Eminem, which I thought was like, I know Eminem produced the movie, but they didn't have to.
If you think about it stylistically too, though, the very final scene of the movie is Adam officially choosing his battle rap name, leaning into the "Hi, my name is."
Like, I get why they did it, but it just seemed a bit like too on the nose.
Yeah.
If they had have, ended it and not given a name at all, which is kind of what they did, but
yeah.
It's like my rap name is "Hi, my name is Eminem."
Well, because like that's why when he's like, "My name is," he smiles at the camera and he's like, "My name," and it cuts to black and it just says the word "bodied." That's meant to be like their way of officially announcing Adam's rap name. Like, it makes sense stylistically, but it is very on the nose.
Yeah. And the other thing that annoyed me in the movie is which they did because Adam's ignorance to everything, but when they were at Megaton's house and he's like, why you've got this gun and you want to battle rap to solve this issue? That's kind of gay, bro.
That seems so pointless.
That kind of annoyed me because it's like, yeah, I get it. He's an ignorant, privileged white kid, but he can't be that stupid, can he? Like, this guy's got a gun,
right?
So that kind of annoyed me. The other thing about Adam's character is he's so intelligent when it comes to words and wordplay and thinking on his feet. It just makes me think that maybe he was a little bit autistic.
Maybe. I think
just not having that social awareness. And then another thing is at the very last battle at the end, I think Megaton won. Personally speaking, I think Megaton won.
Those battles are solid, man.
Yeah.
Fuck anyone. Bodied is a better battle rap film than 8 Mile.
Absolutely. Although 8 Mile does have a special place in my nostalgia bank.
Oh yeah, 100% me too. I can still quote every rap lyric from that movie off by heart, which is sad and pathetic, but it's true.
Talking about violence as it relates to media,
Mm.
do you think people eating hot wings is causing violence on themselves for no reason? Because I saw a headline the other day. Well, that people were complaining that the show Hot Ones is animal cruelty because they use chicken wings.
Uh,
Maybe I don't know, but
well, it was like that Peter thing, right?
yeah.
Like Peter were like, "Stop killing innocent chickens, and we'll name 2 chickens after you. One named Sean, one named Devon." And they were like, "Make vegan wings the main option, unless you're Woody Harrelson, in which case you eat cauliflower." But
I've met a lot of vegans in my time. I've never seen one with wings.
Bro, but you know what does have wings that is actually quite tasty?
Red Bull.
Buffaloes.
Oh, okay. No. Buffaloes don't have wings. What are you talking about?
Buffalo wings. The wings of a buffalo.
No. They're from buffalo.
That's what I'm saying. They're from a buffalo. Wings
No,
of the buffalo.
No. They're not from a buffalo. They're from buffalo.
So just like a singular buffalo. Is it just like one buffalo made entirely of wings?
No. Buffalo's a city.
Named after the wings.
No. The wings are named after the city.
Ah, okay. So the wings are named after the city because that's where they farmed the buffalo for their wings.
What?
You're saying like
You think they've got farms in the middle of cities?
maybe not now, but probably back in the day when buffalo was first established. I imagine it was a farming town to farm buffalo wings.
Maybe they had some buffaloes in the city Buffalo before it was a city. Maybe they had buffaloes, but the wings are from birds.
Isn't a buffalo a bird?
What?
Buffalo's a form of poultry, right?
No, it's like a cow.
But cows don't have wings.
Exactly.
So how do buffaloes have wings? I'm so confused.
You need to go back to school.
Fuck it. She'd be right. Look, I know everything, okay? I know everything.
Oh.
I know better.
Yeah.
So you can tell me the buffaloes don't have wings all you want, but...
Okay, but anyway, we should eat some buffalo wings. Well...
Some hot wings.
Some hot wings. Not all of them are going to be buffalo ones, but
because buffaloes don't have wings.
Because I really want to get into the mindset of whether or not eating hot wings is violent to the chickens, and whether or not violence against myself is good when it comes to spiciness.
So you want to see if like completely obliterating yourself with spice is like doing violence on yourself.
Yeah, because I want to avoid violence.
Like, is there something psychologically messed up with people who enjoy eating spicy food?
There's nothing wrong with me, if that's what you're implying.
Alright, here's what's going to happen.
Okay.
We're going to eat some hot wings. It's going to probably hurt. We'll dive into the mindset of someone who's willing to, commit such horrible violence on themselves, and we'll see how it goes.
But I thought we were committing violence against chickens.
Is it violent? Look, do the chickens get dumped in hot sauce while they're alive? Probably not.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't eat them that way.
Okay, so I think basically what we're saying is neither of us really have issues with eating chicken wings. Is it violent and cruel to the chickens? I don't know. Ask Peter. He's probably got the answers.
Who's Peter?
Peter, the guy. He's the guy that loves the animals. We're gonna go make some wings and then we'll explain what's happening in a bit. Talk to you then.